I've achieved almost everything that I've wanted to in my career. What about my life? How does that look to me? And I thought, do I want to go through life without knowing what it's like to be a mother, which is the most important thing in the world? No, I want that in my life.
I've accomplished almost all of my professional goals. How is my life? What do I think about that? And I asked myself, as the most important thing in the world, do I want to live my life without experiencing what it's like to be a mother? That is what I want in my life. With eyeliner, Donna Mills not only survived, but also started a revolution in Hollywood where women are often forgotten beyond the age of 35. A black pencil, a chilly gaze, and a nasty part that millions vehemently hated. No lessons, no makeup line. She became famous for her eyeliner look. It was referred to as the Donna Mills look rather than a trend. But there was a lady unlike any other behind those dominating roles and that penetrating stare. She never got married, adopted a kid in her 50s, made a career as a secretary at a technical magazine, and dealt with arthritis in private, all without allowing a single wrinkle to get out of hand. There is more to Donna Mills's narrative than her age, her celebrity, or her role as the antagonist on television. It's the story of a lady who dared to break the stereotype, to be true to herself, and to triumph in the most understated manner. Prepare to experience her whole life through a perspective you may not have ever seen, even if you believe you already know her from a few roles. On December 11th, 1940, Donna Jean Miller was born in Norwood Park, a peaceful northwest Chicago neighborhood where kids grew up listening to trains run by and sunshine coming in through closed windows. After her brother Donald, who was 10 years her senior, she was the youngest member of the family. Donna was essentially reared alone because to the interval, surrounded by adult silences. There were no family meals or storytelling sessions during her early years. It was quieter than that, like a black and white movie, with plenty of stares, but no conversation. Her father, Ambrose, was a disciplined and moral computer analyst for Union Oil who left early and returned late. Bernice, her mother, was a conventional housewife. However, Donna never forgot anything about her mother. Her eyes were always brighter when she returned home from her part-time work at the telephone exchange. She told tales. She grinned. Donna came to the realization that no one had to express aloud. A woman can only be fully alive when she has her own voice and her own existence. She didn't internalize the principles she was taught despite growing up in a conservative, judgmental home. So much so that Donna would later acknowledge it was a discriminatory setting. Before we judge the South for racism, how many of you have a black friend? Donna once stood up in class, and it wasn't a child's voice. It was the realization that not everyone is inherently inclined towards fairness, which came too soon. Ron, a former student, remembered that Donna had been struck in the stomach during a baseball game. She struggled to breathe, swallowed tears, and remained still until the anguish became too much to take, at which point she broke down in sobs. Before she learned how to beg for aid, that little girl had how to suffer. She went to Taft High School and Garvey Elementary. Later, Jim Jacobs, one of her students and the man who would write Grease, said that Donna herself served as the inspiration for the character Sandy, played by Olivia Newton-John. Quiet, calm, yet subtly different, impossible to understand, hard to foresee. Donna left the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign, where she was a member of the Delta Gamma sorority after a year. Art was more important to her than safety. Dancing was her first interest. In an attempt to get theatrical experience, she pursued parts in summer stock theaters before landing her first role in Drury Lane's Come Blow Your Horn. When her remark caused the audience to erupt in laughter on opening night, Donna realized there was no going back. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life. She traveled to New York after landing a part in the touring production of My Fair Lady. Donna worked as a secretary at Popular Mechanics, a technical magazine, to support herself before landing her first television contract. This job was totally different from stage lighting, but it taught her the importance of hard work and the worth of every dollar. She had no idea she would become Donna Mills when she got on that train leaving Chicago. There was just one thing she knew. She would never be someone else's grandmother. Actress Donna Mills wasn't destined to be one. Ballet was her first passion. She took her training seriously as a kid with hopes of becoming a professional dancer. She attended the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign after high school, where she was able to combine her studies with improving her ballet technique. She left school less than a year later, however, in order to devote herself fully to her dream of becoming a dancer. After her return to Chicago, she tried out for a number of performing ensembles. She was not hired. Among the hundreds pursuing the same goal, she was unconnected and unremarkable. Donna became aware that her initial dream was vanishing after several rejections. She happened to learn that a local theater was casting for Come Blow Your Horn at that uncertain time. She applied without any prior acting experience, simply to give it a go, and to her surprise, she was selected. Everything changed on that first night on stage. Her line caused the crowd to chuckle. After leaving the stage, Donna realized that she could still stand on a stage in a different capacity, even if she was unable to dance. Although acting hadn't been her first choice, she was determined to pursue it since it was the proper decision after all other options had been exhausted. Shortly after, Donna made the decision to relocate permanently to New York and joined the touring production of My Fair Lady. All she had was ambition and a few clothes. She worked as a secretary at the technical journal Popular Mechanics to make ends meet. She worked throughout the day. She went to auditions at night. She once inquired about the whereabouts of the dressing room at a Broadway casting with more than 200 other females. Nobody responded. I was completely invisible. Still, she continued after saying. Shortly later, Donna caught the attention of a manager who had been present for an audition. For her effort, not for her voice. He saw that she had something, but the name didn't appeal to him. Donna Jean? Sounds like a small-town beauty queen, he said. And so began the life of Donna Mills. TV ads were the start of her career. After that, he was cast as a seductive lounge singer named Rocket on The Secret Storm. Despite not being a vocalist, Donna accepted the gig. She remembered the fear of wearing a glittering dress and singing in front of a piano, unsure of whether she was killing it or destroying the moment. One of the few female directors at the time, Gloria Monty, however, had faith in her. In Donna, she saw the contrast. She was delicate yet resilient. Soon after, Donna played Laura, a nun caught between affection and religion on Love is a Many-Splendored Thing. There were no cuts or changes made to the live-streamed show. She had to master each scenario in a single take while maintaining her composure in front of hundreds of onlookers. She gained the greatest knowledge of the art during this period, both from the character itself and from the constant pressure of live television. Donna gradually abandoned her dance goal and embarked on a new journey. Even though she wasn't selected right away, she managed to get in and remain because of her perseverance, fortitude, and flexibility. Play Misty for Me, a psychological thriller that marked Donna Mills's film debut and helped launch her career in Hollywood, starring her with Clint Eastwood in 1971. However, Donna's career in film didn't take off following that first breakthrough. She returned to television, where she was often portrayed as a woman in danger, a woman being pursued, a woman unable to defend herself. She started to feel worn out. I didn't want to keep being the woman tied up in a dark room or screaming in the woods, Donna once said. She was aware that she needed to take a drastic step in order to bring about change. When Donna learnt in 1979 that the television show Knots Landing was seeking a new character, a strong, witty, and multifaceted woman, she realized this was her opportunity. The issue was that she wasn't wanted by the producers. They saw Donna Mills as a kind, on-screen character who wasn't cut out for a cunning type. She persisted on going to the audition, and she was hired. Abby Cunningham made her debut in Knots Landing's second season. Everything changed after that. Knots Landing went from being a mediocre series to one of CBS's most-watched shows of the early 1980s when its ratings skyrocketed by more than 50% in only the following 2 seasons. With an average viewership of over 20 million, each episode competed with industry titans like Dynasty and Dallas. Notably, Abby was the focus of every episode with the best ratings, even the ones in which she seduced someone else's spouse, swung the courts to her advantage, and triumphed despite controversy. Abby didn't cry. She remained intact. She was calculating and in charge. On American television, this figure redefined what a woman might be, someone to be respected rather than adored. Donna wasn't only acting. She purposefully destroyed the TV good girl persona that had kept her afloat for the previous 10 years. And she was successful. Abby's involvement set off a cultural trend. Her strength was adored by female spectators. The male audience was taken aback and cautious. At one gathering, Donna remembered seeing a lady quickly pull her husband away out of concern that Abby might do what she did on the program. Donna handled all of her own cosmetics in addition to performing. She created a fresh visual identity since she didn't trust the studio stylists. Bold shoulder pads, voluminous hair, defined blush, and dramatic cat eyeliner. She painted Abby's image in the mirror for more than an hour every day, because this was a visual statement for her, not simply beauty. Through Donna's hands, Abby's face developed its own language, sharp, purposeful, and ferociously in charge. That picture swiftly rose to fame among 1980s ladies. Features instructing readers how to get the Donna Mills style were featured in TV Guide People, Soap Opera Digest, and even Vogue. Beauty salons all over America promoted the Abby look, and Vogue listed her alongside Joan Collins as one of the power faces, faces that didn't need to shout to make a scene tremble. People magazine called her the woman who taught American women how to be sharp, starting with their makeup. Soap Opera Digest even ran a special column on how to apply high blush and master cat eyeliner using the Abby look. In addition to her role, Donna's ability to manage her personal image in front of the camera made her a pop culture star. She also demonstrated how a TV role might define a whole period. At the height of her career, Donna unexpectedly left Knots Landing after 9 seasons. She wanted more, control over the tales she told, not because the job was exhausting. She established her own production business, selected screenplays by hand, acted in them, and influenced their themes. Based on a true court case, she portrayed a single mother searching throughout America for her family's father in Runaway Father, 1991. She played a distraught mother who murders the guy who killed her daughter in My Daughter's Name, 1992, a complex psychological performance that stretched moral and emotional limits. What important was that these pictures had consistent box office receipts, were often shown on TV, and made her one of the few independent female producers of the era. Donna didn't produce films to get attention. She created them in order to control the message and make money off of her own decisions. As she previously said, "I was never poor, but I always had to watch every penny. That's how I was raised. No matter how much I made, I always saved a lot." Because of her discipline and feeling of agency, Donna was able to lead a stable life. No bankruptcies, no scandals, and no need to pursue anything other than her craft in order to make ends meet. The success continued after that. For her work on General Hospital, Donna Mills received a Daytime Emmy Award in 2015, almost 40 years after she began her profession. At the height of her Knots Landing career, in 1986, 1988, and 1989, she had already received 3 Soap Opera Digest Awards for Outstanding Villainess. Few people can claim to have been an icon at one point, moved away, returned, and yet prevailed. However, Donna Mills did. Donna Mills never got married. She did love nevertheless, despite everything. Love was slow to arrive, but when it did, it always signaled a change in her life. Donna had her share of romances when she was younger. None of them persisted in the end, while some were short-lived and others survived longer. Film producer Alan Adler was the subject of one of her early documented relationships. Charming and intelligent, but missing the emotional depth necessary to advance. After that, Mills fell in love with actor Vic Valerio because of his attractiveness and love of the arts. But they broke up when they realized their paths weren't compatible. Her 2-decade romance with Richard Holland, the former husband of singer Chaka Khan, an executive producer in advertising and the father of a boy called Damien from a previous marriage, was the most noteworthy, however. In the late 1970s, when both were recuperating from personal heartbreaks, they met in Mexico. Mills's grin drew Holland in. Mills, who was in her 30s at the time, was looking for someone with whom she could converse and who would make her feel at ease rather than passion. Though it wasn't easy, love bloomed. Fundamentally, they were opposites. Donna worked tirelessly, lived quickly, and was always looking for the next challenge. Holland was calm, slow-moving, and acknowledged that he could spend months without doing anything and yet feel comfortable. The friends of Mills were dubious. He was called a gold digger by the media. It was acknowledged by Donna herself that, "I knew the public didn't like him, but I didn't let that affect me." The way Donna accepted Holland's background was what gave the partnership its depth. She treated Damien, his kid, as if he were her own. In order to make the youngster feel like a member of the family rather than an outsider, Mills made sure he had his own room and belongings each time he visited his father. She has this maternal instinct even before she became a mother. But their conflicts couldn't be resolved by love alone. Over the course of 2 decades, they often broke up and then got back together. The first guy Mills ever let to live with her was Richard. She and him shared time, space, and even assisted in redecorating her $1.5 million property. It was the most significant concession she had ever given to a guy. Ultimately, however, they were unable to close the distance. They never got married, didn't have kids together, and Donna left when she saw the relationship wasn't advancing her, even though she was devastated. At the age of 54, Mills made a choice a few years after the split. She was going to have a baby. She was at the pinnacle of her career at the time, producing and acting in films and becoming well known across the United States. However, there was still a vacuum at the back. "I realized I had everything except a child," she said. She then adopted a 4-day-old child and gave her the name Chloe. The choice caused a stir. Many people said she was too old to have children since she couldn't keep up with them. Mills, however, disregarded them. More than anything else, her mother instinct arose. For 18 years, she put her career on hold. To be with Chloe every day, from the moment she spoke until her first day of school, without any acting or press trips. "I didn't want my child raised by a nanny. I wanted to care for her myself, drive her to school, sit by her bed, and tell her stories every night," Donna said. And she did just that. Chloe now has over 14,500 Instagram followers, works as a model and influencer, is in a relationship with musician Bailey Joshua, and is a member of Soho House, California. For Mills, however, Chloe remains that 4-day-old infant, her indestructible delight. The two continue to spend every minute together as if time had never gone, dance together on Mother's Day, and see each other once a week. Then, when Donna was nearly 60, love came knocking again. She first crossed paths with actor, director, and acting instructor Larry Gilman in 2001. Larry was neither ostentatious or affluent, but he treated Mills with dignity. "I used to like bad boys, but Larry was different. He didn't try to control me. He gave me power and didn't lose himself doing it." Despite being together for more than 22 years, they never got married, much like Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell. Donna bluntly said, "I'm very independent. I've always made my own money. I don't need marriage to prove anything." In an interview from 2023, she said, "We don't combine finances. We don't split assets. We're both independent, but we live together as husband and wife. Why bother with paperwork?" They don't flaunt their affection. It manifests itself in action. Mandeville Vineyards is a vineyard Gilman developed for Mills near Brentwood, where they reside in 2013. There are rows of grapes that are gathered every autumn to make the wine ethereal, but there are no red roses or wedding rings. That was the most romantic gesture Donna had ever seen. Donna chuckled when she said, "We're farmers," on CBS Sunday Morning, and being farmers is actually kind of fun. Although Donna Mills is a life partner, she has never been a wife. Despite never having a child, she is an excellent mother. Despite not having a conventional family, she has created the ideal life for herself. And she once remarked, "I want someone to love, to share life with, but if I don't, I'll still be fine because I'm the only person I can truly count on." The character of Abby Cunningham, a shrewd, cunning woman who always had the upper hand in a man's world, is central to Donna Mills's television career. However, that function wasn't what really made Donna unique. It was the fact that she was aware of the parts she was playing and turned down unworthy ones. As she appeared on several television programs, Mills started to recognize the issue. Why did women on TV usually end up as victims, being beaten, abducted, intimidated, and fleeing for their lives? Am I helping reinforce a false image? She questioned herself each time she read a screenplay, and she stopped when the answer was yes. Just a silent choice to switch roles. No fuss, no resistance. She also created the parts herself, if none were worth accepting. Donna didn't only stand in front of the camera in films like Runaway Father in My Daughter's Name and The World's Oldest Living Bridesmaid. She was in charge of the plot, the material, and the portrayal of the female characters throughout the whole production process. When television was still very much a man's domain in the 1990s, few people were able to achieve this. But without waiting for approval, she took decisive action and did it in silence. For this reason, Mills was not a pioneer in the sense of yelling slogans for the actresses who followed. She only demonstrated that you have the freedom to refuse, the freedom to leave a position that isn't fulfilling, the right to wait for the position that does, or to create it. Donna Mills, who is now in her 80s, continues to live that manner. She didn't disguise the fact that she had arthritis. She started speaking openly about the illness as a spokeswoman for BEAT, an organization that works to raise awareness of it. She didn't remain quiet when the issue of abortion rights became a public struggle. She joined ECO, a nature protection organization, when environmental issues were disregarded. She didn't ask to be heard. She couldn't keep silent, so she just spoke, creating work without permission, living without waiting for approval, and building a profession with her own hands, unrestrained and unrepentant, may be the biggest legacy Donna Mills leaves behind. She never advocated for others to emulate her, to let future generations of women know that you don't have to satisfy anybody in order to take up space. She just lived that way. At 84, Donna Mills no longer portrays the victim. In real life, she has emerged as a timeless role model. She still makes appearances in films, walks the red carpet, and gives motivational interviews in a field that used to dismiss middle-aged women without question, as if no one had ever told her, "You're too old for this." In 2023, she portrayed Lillian Cutler in Lifetime's Dawn series, which was adapted from V.C. Andrews. She had an appearance in Jordan Peele's Nope a year before, but this time she was a live example of the question, what does it mean to still have it, rather than a relic brought back from the past? Surgery isn't the key to Donna's continued possession. She has never pursued youth fads or had Botox or any other cosmetic operations. Nevertheless, everyone who sees her must acknowledge that she doesn't seem to be in her 80s. Donna said, "I'm not a superhero," to Fox News Digital, but I always look at the big picture. She exercises almost every day. In particular, she spends 2 hours each time playing tennis 5 days a week. Because she has always loved ballet, she uses a ballet bar for stretches, a Peloton for cycling, and small weights in her at-home gym. She eats healthily, giving veggies and protein first priority, and she stays out of the sun at all costs. At my age, sun protection isn't optional, it's mandatory. Although Donna acknowledges that her arthritis may be excruciating, she has never stopped moving. Her words, "This is when discipline pays off." Her message is quite clear. Growing older does not imply that life is gone. You still have a lot to give at 60 or 70. Donna is live evidence that you should never just sit down and declare, "I'm done." She lives in a historic Brentwood house that was formerly the set for Queens of Drama with Larry Gilman, her companion whom she met at the age of 60. Donna said, "I used to like bad boys," with a giggle. "But Larry's different. He doesn't try to control me. He gives me space and power without losing himself." The two now operate their own wine company, Mandeville Vineyards, which was planted for Donna by Larry, a director, actor, and acting instructor. On CBS Sunday Morning, Donna made a joke about how we're farmers, and being farmers is actually kind of fun. However, as Donna acknowledges, parenthood has been her most significant function. She adopted Chloe in 1994 when she was 54 years old, and the infant was just 4 days old. For 18 years, Donna put her career on hold to raise daughter. She declined nannies, turned down shoots, and rejected the unpredictability of show business. "I wanted to be there every day in those early years," she said. Chloe is now dating musician Bailey Joshua, a member of Soho House, California, an influencer and a model. However, Chloe is still indispensable to Donna. The two continue to get together once a week, make dancing videos together, and experience simple moments that seem full. "She's taught me more than anyone else ever has, and I never knew I could love this much," Donna said in a tearful interview. Donna Mills, who is 84, doesn't rely on her prior success. She believes that life never ends at any age, as long as there is still something to love and something to do, and she lives with dedication to her family, to herself, and to her health. She is still involved in the arts and is still performing as of 2025. She recently gave a reflection on her career and present life in a YouTube video called Donna Mills Then and Now, 2025. Donna often publishes information on new projects and unguarded moments from her daily life on her official Instagram account, @the Donna Mills. Amid a sea of superstars from the 1980s, she went from being a Midwest girl who dared to leave college to pursue ballet to being a celebrity who made Donna Mills' face iconic. From her portrayal of the strong, evil Abby on film to her decision to become a single mother at the age of 54 and leave the limelight for a kid, Donna Mills has led a life that is rich in depth and meaning rather than glitz. She didn't need a marriage license to define love or legally enforceable agreements to maintain a long-term partnership. Despite not having a child, she had the instinct and heart of a mother, gentle enough to care for, powerful enough to defend. A title isn't what makes Donna Mills unique. She has made the decision to live a different life, love and mother in a different way, and never compromise. For more than 60 years, her life, as calm as it may seem, has steadily and permanently impacted millions of spectators. Donna Mills's journey is the most compelling and obvious response to the question of whether it's too late to fall in love, start again, or rewrite your own tale. Because age is only a number to Donna Mills. Her heart has always blazed with the radiance of a 20-something, whether it be in love, passion, or her lifestyle. Remember to like, subscribe, and click the bell to join us as we explore more incredible travels behind the spotlight of Hollywood if you think Donna Mills' story needs to be told and appreciated. I'll see you in the future video. Thank you.